They are standing
beside you.
And no. Mark said now. नहीं whatever religion है.
Mark's for whom? Mark's for? We're just gonna call it bossy positive.
Hello, Emily Dickinson. Reaction.
Traumatized. You should never take things and just follow them. You should always keep questioning.
You fully don't said swallow. I mouthed it, so please. Everyone is yours. No, why shall I be nervous when I just reshoot it?
Hi everyone.
I'm Zoya Fatima.
And I'm Aditi.
And we are shooting this video. Okay. Huge fail.
And we're shooting this video because
दूध वाला नहीं आया.
And we wanted to make coffee that we can't now.
And Zoya Fatima was going to make this mug cake.
That also needed milk.
That's why we are
So we
shooting
can't
this
make that
video.
either. So here we are with our faces and our smiles and our laughs to entertain you.
And our pretty quirkiness.
So
what are we doing?
what are your plans for the day? Camera mein aao bro.
We are going to watch Home Alone!
I hate my voice. Wait, we are going to watch
Okay, we are going to watch Home Alone.
दूध वाला
Okay. Pause कहाँ से होता है bro?
Chan.
Okay, wait. Where?
There. It's pretty. Hello. It is 7 hours later. It's 2 a.m. and we're back again. So we had dinner. We ate chicken. We watched Home Alone.
Zoya ate chicken and didn't complain. New.
Of course, I
Very
didn't complain. Chicken is the only thing that I eat and not complain about.
You complain about so many things.
Yeah, I'm a little whiny. So what? That's what you subscribed for when you decided to be my
There's
friend.
potato in sabji.
So it's 2 a.m. and we're ready to have some intellectual conversations. By intellectual, we mean
इधर उधर की बातें.
or bitching about school
Yes, most important thing.
and talking about the beauty of Call Me By Your Name, which I still haven't finished yet.
Till where did you read this book?
I read part 1 खत्म होने से थोड़ा पहले तक.
Have you read Elio talking about his religion, that he's a Jew? Have you noticed something कि how he talks about religion, where he says that we are Jews of discretion,
but we don't show it. And when he sees Oliver wearing that,
the David star,
so he's very surprised that he follows his religion and he owns it.
Okay, I'll say something that will blow your mind. So you read about that part. Did you think it was symbolic of homosexuality? I thought, because he talks about it like that. Jew brother, they are Jews of discretion. And he's also the only Jew in the whole town. So it's like, maybe it is symbolic of this homosexuality.
Could be.
Thought about it too much. But the writer has not confirmed it. But makes too much sense.
It doesn't matter whether the writer confirms something or not, because that's of the
Because
author.
when I read it, I am reading it from my perspective, and that thing
The
becomes
moment
mine.
the author finishes writing the book, the moment I start reading it, I am the author and my interpretation is all that matters.
Also, what are your thoughts about the writer being a heterosexual man?
पहले
A
तो
homosexual love
the day
story.
you gave it to me, I asked you, is the
I
author?
remember. And you asked,
Because writing it from the perspective of a homosexual person for a heterosexual man,
very difficult.
Very
And how
difficult
did
and
he do it? I want to know.
and I don't know how he did it very conveniently. You need some new level of imagination for
Yes, and creativity as well. मतलब I have read a few novels जहाँ पर author did not belong to the same sexuality or gender identity and tried to portray that. The worst example will be Chetan Bhagat attempting to write as a female.
I haven't read any Chetan Bhagat and I'm not complaining.
It's in my hall of shame. There are Twilight books, then there's Chetan Bhagat books. So there was this period where I was very, very much obsessed with Twilight. The only wish of my whole existence was कि if someone comes and like, what is the last wish? I was like, Can I please forget watching Twilight movie just so I could watch it
I
again?
had this for Harry Potter.
With Harry Potter, I watched the movie. उसके बाद I read the books. So there was like, हाँ कि I have this alternative to go to.
I was thinking, should I read the books first? Should I watch the movies first? Then I decided कि नहीं, पहले books पढ़ेंगे, imagine करेंगे, फिर movie देखेंगे, फिर compare करेंगे imagination को उस director के point of view से. Also, what about accepting Harry Potter while rejecting J.K. Rowling?
Complicated.
Very complicated. At one point of time, I kind of felt guilty for liking Harry Potter when it first came out that J.K. Rowling was
If you're an ally and liking J.K. Rowling and her work makes it very problematic. But then I thought, what did I thought? What did I think? Please edit this part.
I would.
At one point of time when that statement came ki हाँ J.K. Rowling said something very transphobic, I was like, okay, she said it once, maybe for publicity, maybe I'll ignore it this once. But then she kept on making these very problematic statements. I was like, okay, now we are cancelling her. Also, Sherlock Holmes, what the bloody hell?
We'll have some dissing of Sherlock Holmes and of Anna Karenina.
Oh god, that book. There's no need to read Anna Karenina. Don't ever read Anna Karenina.
You're the only person I've heard say that.
Because always when I go through Bookstagram, it's like
Everyone loves it.
everyone loves it and I don't know what they love it in the book. The huge description of Russian farming. So detailed. I know if you are curious about knowing.
I am not a huge fan of beating around the bush. Get to the point,
Exactly.
please.
You know why Russian authors' books are so long and so lengthy? Because they used to get paid per pages or something
based on the
like
length
that.
of the
So,
book.
Sherlock Holmes, I started reading. I was so intrigued. I always love this whodunit novels and this detective novel. I just love these movies. Who has done the murder? Christie or David Fincher. David Fincher. All his movies are absolute masterpieces. Don't ever watch it, you'll puke.
I know. I can't.
Once I tried to show her a movie, Bulbul. And
Don't even remind me.
okay,
of
I'm
it.
sorry.
Traumatized.
Okay.
I watched F.R.I.E.N.D.S in 2019 with my sister and her friend. I was scarred for 3 months. And the first psychological thriller that I watched was The Shining.
I want to know, how did you manage to go through that movie? I mean, you were fainting by the not even the end of Bulbul, not even the interval.
I didn't finish Bulbul, na.
How did you manage to go through The Shining?
I watched The Shining with 5 other people.
So what?
And I was constantly hiding this way.
Okay, so she didn't.
And I was watching it.
She didn't watch half of the movie.
No, I did watch it.
You claim you did, but you didn't.
The thing is, psychological thrillers are still okay for me, but that graphic description of violence and that's not. I just can't. I'm very fragile. My heart is very, very, very fragile.
When you said that while reading Normal People, that scene, the molestation and abuse. Means I was thinking, I was introspecting, did I feel anything like that? Like, no, I went through that part very normally. It's like, okay, I need to make movie choices which do not have any trigger warning and then show it to Zoya. So, Home Alone.
Yes, that's the movie for me.
Also, there's this one scene in Home Alone where the guy steps on a needle. Reaction. You know what, this movie A Quiet Place. John Krasinski, the office wala, is there. He directed it.
Jim.
Jim. And his wife Emily Blunt is in the movie.
Jo The Devil Wears Prada mein.
Yes, she knows shit.
I know shit about cinema too.
What happens in that movie is there's this apocalypse and you can't make sound because the creatures.
You told me about it. And she gets pregnant and she has to
go through the labor without making a sound.
Any noise.
But she does make sound at the end. I don't remember exactly. Or there's this scene where her water breaks and she's going towards the basement where she has prepared this special deliver. और वो बीच में एक nail रहता है.
Ow.
And she steps on it and manages to not make a single sound. It's like,
I can't imagine.
Just don't. Just telling you कि मतलब the what you in Home Alone was not at all triggering.
How much of good stuff I'll miss out on because of this fear of
Girl.
gore and
I will never
violence.
recommend ki you watch Gone Girl, but I love Gone Girl. Monica from Friends. She has a lot of issues. OCD, validation,
Constant need of people liking her.
appreciation. She needs appreciation for something she has
She
done.
thrives on validation.
Yes.
I do too a little bit. Everybody
A
does
little bit
to
is
some
nice,
extent.
but that's all she lives for. I think this is all, we think that this is all a reflection
Of a childhood.
and how her mother treated her, favoring Ross over her. Especially remember that wo speech wala that Ross always gets the opportunity.
And everybody cries. Monica's speech was so good.
It
Matlab,
wasn't.
when she started out, it was really nice.
And then she
And
saw
then she saw that nobody is reacting, so she started wo dog ka.
bullshit. Was funny, but also showed ki
Obviously, it's
how
a
much
sitcom,
she
so
needed.
it's dealt in a very light manner and in a funny way, but
comedic
comedic manner.
Comedic manner. Yes, we don't know how to pronounce shit.
We don't know English.
You know Hindi, वो भी अच्छे से नहीं आता.
हाँ, bilingual होने का यही दिक्कत है.
कि you know
You know, थोड़ा इधर, थोड़ा उधर, but
And
there's
then
not a strong hold on any one language.
gets mixed up. So much
And we
for
want to be
wanting learn.
multilinguals.
So much. Okay.
That's
We don't know English.
Just an example.
I think the biggest character growth was of Rachel's. Obviously, very
Obviously.
obvious. She comes as this brat, spoiled brat who can't.
Daddy's little princess.
What if
By
daddy?
the end of the show, she is such a strong, independent woman.
She's
With a single mom.
single mom and she's handling so many things on her own, and matlab, she's very outspoken as well when any of the other characters say something. She's very outspoken.
Monica's character is shown in such a manner. I mean, she's shown as a very strong, physically strong person. She's strong emotionally, strong mentally. She's very mature. She's like the mom of the group, handles everybody. But at the same time, she has all these feminine traits as well. Like wanting to have a baby, wanting to marry. Normally, these two traits would be not associated with a single person. But Monica's character was sketched in such a way, which I really liked about. And other than that, nobody has a significant character development. Chandler
Joey-
has just a little bit. Starting में he's scared of commitment. Starting में he's scared of commitment. By the end of it, he's happily married. So
I'll say ki not in all aspects like Rachel, but Chandler had this huge character development in his commitment issue.
commitment issues and the way he looked upon relationships.
You know, these series and movies, they look like very trivial things that
But they
are
have such an
time-based.
impact on us.
When you start perceiving them, when you start to think about them, there are a lot of things to talk about. These movies, these series, except when you talk about Clueless. There's nothing to take from that.
If you keep aside David Schwimmer's acting, Ross was a very toxic character.
Extremely toxic,
Extremely toxic.
problematic. Remember how she
Well,
talked.
it was David Schwimmer's acting that made it all very funny, but it
His
was actually
comedic timing.
His comedic timing. What else do you want to talk about, baby?
A lot of
Let's
things.
talk about slow living.
Not just
When
slow
I-
living, slow traveling. Coupled
Slow
with
traveling is very very fun. I don't know English. That is exactly what I want to do, and that is the sole reason why I want to earn a lot of money.
Traveling and
Traveling, slow living.
Okay, we are dreaming about it now.
Yeah, I just pictured everything.
When you're creative, you need to not have that rush.
Because creative process needs time. You need to be on your own pace.
Process things. Process it in your mind, then process it in whatever form of art you
Also,
have.
when you move from place to place, you'll get so much of new perspective, and you need that for creativity. Any kind of art.
I also think when people write novels, and if they have lived at that place which they're writing about, the writing comes off very differently.
Because you're giving your first-hand experience of it.
That's why when Sally Rooney writes about Ireland, it's
very
seems
natural,
so authentic
and natural. Sally Rooney. Let's talk
Sally
about
Rooney.
normal people.
This book has its haters, and
That's it. Hi.
there are a lot of people on ground who call it overrated. Pure work of Sally Rooney's PR. Also, have you seen in her book, especially normal people, So she at some points lets it off कि she supports communism or she is a socialist. At some points,
Through Marianne.
through Marianne and also through Conan.
Through
When
Conan also,
the first mention was when he comes up with the Communist Manifesto. So she is showing it off that she might believe in socialism, and
But she deals with it in such a way कि कुछ out and out नहीं आएगा.
also Ireland has a very active political scene with communism and socialism involved with it. But while writing about communism and socialism, she is selling her books. That's okay. But she has these events where she's offering some other persons some class for these many dollars or these many pounds. Matlab, she wants to be a socialist, but is still getting herself involved in capitalist activities.
But you can't. When you're in the system, you can't. If you can't change it, you have to be in it. Matlab, you don't have another
Even
option.
if you are against the system, to survive, you'll have to be the part of the system. That's where all the problems start.
This is a very vague argument by capitalists.
No matter how anti-capitalist I am, at some point I'll have to get a job or be employed to survive. That's how the society has been structured over the years. Sad, but true. Oh, let's bitch about school.
Let's
about school.
And the education
And let's
system.
change up.
I was saying ki, what you said right now about being a socialist and still working within the capitalist system, it applies to the education system too. Because once I remember I made an Instagram post about something related to the education system, and I got comments saying, if you hate the education system so much, why are you still in school? Why don't you just drop out? I mean, hey, welcome to the real world. That's not how it works.
You are living in the society is problematic. You'll have to keep pointing it out at all steps, and it will have to evolve at all steps.
It's very gradual. The change is very gradual.
So I can remain in school and I can hate it and I can criticize it. But at the same time, we like to bitch about school as well.
Because we should. Because if we don't, then it will just remain this way forever.
You should never.
And it can't. It shouldn't.
You should never take things and just I'll not speak.
You should never take things and just swallow them. You should always keep questioning at every point.
This looked very double meaning when you said swallow. I mouthed it. So please.
What's a synonym for swallow?
Okay, you say swallow, I'll not mouth it and it will not look dirty. You should just not take things as they are. You should always keep questioning
at every step.
Keep criticizing. Point. We have always been taught that what is mentioned in textbook is like rule of law. That's true. But
now I realize it's not.
Exactly, not that much in 9th and 10th.
In class 9th and 10th, I did not even think about this. कि textbook में जो है वो तो सही है ही. 11th 12th में आके I realized क्योंकि there's an author of textbooks, of course books as well, and they can be biased, and their bias can be reflected in
what their writings, especially in humanities. If you think about it, if you have taken humanities, you'll have to question everything you are reading because it's a question about idealism.
It is.
And ideology. Same thing. I don't know. Talking about when people say that they want to read a non-fiction book about some topic, any topic, and they ask you for suggestions. Tell me a book. I want to read about it, and it should be neutral.
It should be authentic. It should not have
factual data. But the thing is, the not datas.
Oh my God! Half of this video is correcting grammar.
So, I'll just say it
factual
again.
Data.
That factual data can also be portrayed
in a way that reflects your biasness.
Exactly.
Even if you're only presenting facts, you can choose to present some facts and choose to ignore others.
Or just project the same fact from
in a
two
twisted
different dimensions.
In a different narrative. So
also,
that completely changes things.
When you're saying that there's this author who writes unbiased texts, and
there is no unbiased text.
What your ideologies are, what your principles are, will definitely be reflected in how you present facts and how you conclude those facts. So there's nothing like neutral or unbiased books. Doesn't exist. At least in my
Even the
opinion.
most factual books will be biased to some level. And by biased, we mean that will be influenced by it and the ideology of the
their
author.
principles.
If you believe in the principles of the author, then you'll buy it. If you don't, then you'll just criticize it. There was a chapter about Towards Equality report of 1974, and the author, the man that writes everything about it, doesn't even mention the authors of the report.
Who are, guess, women.
Of course, they're women.
Completely snubbed the authors. Like, who are they? Towards Equality report just came out of thin air, and now I'm going to write about it, and half of my writing will be copy pasted from Wikipedia.
From Wikipedia, oh my god.
God, every
Word to word, line to line from Wikipedia.
especially in few of the topics like the Naxal movement, the JP movement,
Second and third Indo-Pak War.
chef's kiss, the copy pasting, chef's kiss.
I mean, at least change the language. At least use some synonyms. Rephrase it.
But nahi, he
Lazy
just,
writing. He just decided to omit some parts, and that's it.
yes, and that did us bad.
We had our history exams today. Yesterday, technically.
The exam was an elaborate joke on us.
Sexism in schools is nothing new.
You're operating a co-ed school, and there's this prominent segregation, which is very evident if you think about it.
I was thinking, do people even notice this?
It is very subdued, and if you are not very aware about it and you have not been questioning everything, you'll not even notice that it happened, and what happened was sexism. You won't. And that's how actually the whole concept of sexism has been passing through generations for years, because people have not been able to detect it only.
People don't want, the oppressors don't want the oppressed to detect it.
First I had to
Register it.
oppressors oppressed. Mark said now नहीं बोलेगा, religion है, नहीं बोलेगा, नहीं बोलेगा.
Marx on who? Marx what?
In so many texts, Aristotle and एक और कौन था, Socrates.
Aristotle was also sexist.
वही I was going to say. These people are mentioned and have been acclaimed so much, but they were sexist, and we need to acknowledge that. Whenever you say something, just नीचे एक
लिख दो
कि we acknowledge that he was a sexist, but this made sense what he said.
We're not undermining his intellect, but
Just give footnotes. He was a sexist. That's it. We know it was years back, but you'll have to take it in account. Let's talk about Emily Dickinson and poets.
okay.
So we wrote this article where we mentioned how so many women were not allowed to write for years and years. And I also sent you a post, remember, kind of all the women who write today have this responsibility
That when you write, just imagine the ghost of all the women who are not allowed to write.
they are standing behind you.
beside you. Oh my
And-
God, I'm scared.
No. Hello, Emily Dickinson.
Oh my God.
Hello, the woman who wrote for her husband, and then he took all the credit.
Let's talk about
Them. Dickinson, we need to praise her. She was phenomenal. She wrote thousands and thousands of poems, and
she
none
was
of it got published while she was alive. And all of it was published later by her brother. And then all the money he took, which is sad. I mean, okay, she got the credit, but money?
But like, does getting credit after you die even make sense? I don't
Do
think
you know
so.
that she's even there watching them?
I mean-
I don't think so.
How do you know कि people will just somehow know after they die
That they're watching. Oh, even though I wasn't allowed to write,
even
I was
though
alive.
I'm not there, they're reading me. I mean, okay, if that
Nice.
is true, it will make sense. But how do you know if it's true? What if death is just the end? What if you die and then there's nothing? It's just
Also-
a full stop.
True. Also talking about Scott Fitzgerald. What the fuck, bestie? What the fuck?
Not bestie. Bestie was Zelda. Zelda's life was amazing. She was this frapper. What was it? Frapper. The jazz singers.
The women of that era who went against all the stereotypes and did those things, those things which were
frowned upon.
I don't know this language.
She once-
say the whole sentence again.
She once wore a nude bathing suit. Remember?
Also, women were at that time were not allowed to wear bathing suits which were above knee, not allowed. And there were these So that's what we were talking about, that the change is not in one day, it's gradual.
very
small
gradual.
steps. Even the small steps, the small activities we do will matter in the big scene.
Like sometimes when there is something sexist going on and we speak about it, we sometimes think, will my speaking up even matter? Will we even make a difference? But it does. It's all the little things that make the difference. Because maybe 10 to 20 years back, nobody spoke up about that as well. And now someone is. 20 years later, more things will be spoken against. And that is how it works. That is how
Exactly.
gradual change comes about in society.
Because those women went out and wore those dresses or did something which was not allowed. That's why we are sitting here talking about it.
Exactly.
They couldn't have.
Well-behaved women rarely make
history. So we are because they were. Dickinson is there. Virginia Woolf is sitting there.
Plath.
That is now enough with white women.
And
Maya Angelou is sitting there. Also, it is such a shame that we, people who always talk about women and their achievements and their work, some of
we
it,
don't know the names.
so many names we don't know, and we just sit there
Like
thinking,
we think about something, we think about sports, and so the names of so many men come up in our minds.
automatically.
And it's not even our fault because we've been fed with the names of men.
So it's what the mainstream media has fed us, and it comes. Matlab, we have not been taking it in consciously, subconsciously, and it's there.
So sad. Well, we've talked enough and we really need to sleep right now because we have plans tomorrow.
Things to do.
A lot of things to do.
We are going to do cool girl shit. Plans.
3:30. We've been talking for 1 hour straight. Do you realize?
No, when we talk, I don't realize कि कितना time हो गया. We just keep talking.
We didn't pause for a minute. Wow.
But half the time we were correcting each other's grammar and pronunciation, and
It's okay.
it's okay.
Okay. So see you tomorrow. Good morning, people. When we are awkward and we don't know what to do, we just go.
Do this. All my photos, I do this.
It's like when you're getting your picture clicked, what exactly are you supposed to do with your hands? So I go.
Also, one day someone called it कि it looks cringy, so I was like, okay.
This looks cringy. This looks cute.
You said it.
I think so.
God. I've been thinking what else to do.
Anyway, we ate chicken again.
We are very happy about it.
And now we are going to get ready and we're going to go somewhere.
What are we going to do?
Oh, we're going to go and we're going to have fun.
We are going to the cafe and take the feels of being that it girl. It girl.
It girl.
It girl.
What exactly is?
It girl studies in New York University. She studies art. She goes to these cafes with a laptop and
her sketchbook, and she sits alone in a cafe and she sketches,
listens to music,
she listens to
drinks
great
coffee,
music,
and then she paints or sketches or writes. So we want to take that.
Yeah. We have romanticized every
Everything.
bit of winter and Christmas,
Christmas.
and I'm loving it. Yesterday we were going to talk about slow living. Yesterday we didn't finish any topic we started. Do you realize that?
We started talking about something and
Then we switched to something entirely different. We started talking about Zelda, and then we switched to
frappers and how women
bring about change.
And then we were also placing dead writers behind our back. Like
That was
she's
fun.
Very fun.
See, we did the same thing even now.
Okay.
So we were talking about slow living and how this idea of productivity and like achieving everything you can in one day, it's so overrated.
The way productivity has been what?
Glorified.
Yes, the way productivity has been glorified.
Like if you're not doing your best, waking up every single day and doing like the maximum amount of things that you can, then you're not living life. I don't believe
There are people who, if they are not productive in a day, will have such a huge guilt trip.
Guilt complex,
And I never
yeah.
have that guilt trip. I always, if she asks me ki, what I have done, and I say nothing, I wasted my time, listened to songs, read
But
this.
like,
Is that a waste of time?
that a waste
She
of
always
time?
says, oh, that is not a waste of time.
It isn't. Listening to music and reading and watching shows.
Consuming art is not a waste of
Exactly.
time. So that's all we want to do. We want to wake up and slowly make ourselves a coffee and then consume art. Sit
I
and just
don't
think.
want to rush through my day. I don't want to do anything that will make me want to feel like, oh, I'm late. Oh, I need to rush.
No
I need to
rush.
go. I mean, when I'm eating, I need to feel the taste of every
take
bite.
life in. It's not like life is, you are standing there and life is going through you. Not like that. You just take all of it in. I was watching the Dickinson series, and there was this one instance where she says you need to get a house help, but I'll not do the work, to her father. And I was like, what will you do with your free time if not the housework? It was like, no, nothing. I'll just go and sit under the tree and think. That's all I want to do. It's like, okay.
Even thinking is not a waste of time. You're thinking.
Processing things, productivity, and give your best. Hustle
Culture is very toxic.
very toxic. Agreed. People say that if you're this is the time of your life, if you do not grab it, you're going to lose life. No, I'm not.
If you cross 30 and you haven't achieved this, then you're not living.
It's like you are going to tell me about achievements. The youngest, tell me about the oldest. I'll listen to
Exactly.
that. Anyone can find a purpose in life whenever they want to. That's what I believe. You are 43, want to learn ballet, go for it. I always wondered that you spend so much of your life committed to something, and then one day you realize that maybe
This was not my purpose at all.
Exactly.
Maybe I was meant to do something entirely different.
So-
and this scares me. What if I miss out on that one thing
So many
that I'm meant to
years.
do? What if I never figure out what I actually am the best
it's
at?
okay, but you tried figuring out and you didn't take what was thrown at you, like, become this and you will become that. At least you tried figuring out. Most of the people don't do that
even
as
have
well.
an option and can't. They just don't know.
Option. This is great that we are sitting here discussing this and how everything. We are condescending.
There it is. There it is. Back again.
Please don't include it.
How we are condescending.
Condescend.
Speaking fluently is very overrated.
It is. I've realized.
Because if English is not your first language, you will not be that fluent in it. Especially for bilingual. So you spoke this yesterday as well, I guess.
Also, till class 10, that was everything for me. Like, I have to be perfect while speaking English, and I was. But then the lockdown started, and I stopped speaking for a while, and this started happening last year.
And especially when I'm recording videos, it takes me so many takes to get something right, because I'm like, I have to be very fluent. I can't stutter. Oh shit, I stuttered. Now I'll have to retake it.
It has also taken me time to accept that I can stutter, I'll pronounce things wrong. But there are times I feel very guilty and I feel
Nothing
ashamed.
to feel guilty about.
But
It's just
exactly.
a language.
So it's also training yourself. So I'm training myself to not feel guilty about it. If you are speaking more than one language, this is bound to happen.
Exactly.
Also about body positivity. Listen, I'll tell you one thing. I'm all for body positivity. Okay? I'll tell you, be comfortable in your body. And when anyone in front of me says something body negative, toxic, like commenting about the appearance, I always say, don't do this and correct them. Then at times I realize how hard I go on myself.
I know. Oh my god, I know. I know what you're talking about. Not just in body not just in body positivity, it happens in a lot of other things as well. When others are doing something like Ojashwita, she had her physics or chemistry exam and she was like sad because CBSE paper was very tough, obviously. So I was telling her, no, you will not compare your marks with anyone else, and it's okay. You just जो exam हो गया, focus on the next one. And all this gyan I was giving her. Just one day before political science exam के बाद, I had stayed in my bed for 5-6 hours and cried because मेरा 5 marks का गलती
I
हो गया.
always like to say that I never get jealous because of marks, and I'll never compare. Whenever any of my parents say, get better than him, than her, I'm like, no, I'll get better than what I did last time.
So I was telling
But deep down, I'm always there comparing my marks with someone.
Matlab, even if you try your best, it will happen. Because, we were given the same resources, we studied the same thing, then why did somebody else get better than me? But that's not what I was saying. I was saying कि हाँ, तो मैं उसको पूरा ज्ञान दिया कि okay, don't do this, जबकि just a day before I had done the exact same thing, and that made me introspect. Like, what I'm saying, is that even valid?
It is valid, but you also have to apply it to yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean कि if you are not applying it to yourself and you know that it's wrong and you know the correct thing and you're telling it to someone, that doesn't make it invalid.
When I was sad about this marks, and I was thinking कि it's not a big deal. I did the best I could, and I knew all of this. I had all the realization, but at the same time, I was like, no, I should feel sad.
This is about self-awareness. I'm the most self-aware person there can be.
I'm self-aware about so many things that are bad about me, but I still can't do anything about it.
I'll go to a doctor.
And the fact that I'm self-aware makes it worse because I know this is bad, but I still do it.
No, but you know that it's wrong, and at some point you try to not do it. You are challenging yourself, so that's good. But I am a kind of person who is so self-aware that I'll go to a doctor and diagnose myself and then you tell, am I right? That kind of person I am.
We're just gonna call it bossy positivity.
Bossy positivity.
Bossy positivity.
Okay, so we're talking about how body standards are a myth and a hoax. No person, not everyone can have the same body
type. Every body is different.
No matter how much exercise you do or how much diet you
ideal
follow.
Body type keeps changing in every decade.
Somebody come get your man. I think he got lost in my DM.
Okay, call break. Idea to wear heels. Very bad idea. Why am I so clumsy?
This is a small cafe in West Village, New York. We are the It Girls. We study in New York University.
We're studying art.
I study journalism. And we are intro department friends. We are very cool. We are changing world over here, sitting here talking.
I feel like a girl boss in this coat that I can't wear right now, unfortunately. Although I really want to, but I can't torture myself. Don't you think the girl boss culture puts a lot of pressure on young women?
I think people just need to cut a bit of slack and just let people be.
I was taking the example of Fleabag. Fleabag's sister, Claire. She's so put together. She has a good job. She has a nice family. She's like everything that a woman her age would want, aspire to be. And then there's the independent, strong woman
Who at the same time has a family.
and is good at both of those things.
But when you look closer, you realize that she is barely keeping it together.
She's at the verge of crying any
Breaking
moment.
down any moment. And when she does not actually cry for the things that she's not able to cope up, but because she got a bad haircut.
She tries to console herself that way. Okay, this is why I'm not happy because I got a bad haircut, not because I'm barely keeping it all together.
Fleabag goes to the parlor and fights for her sister, do you remember?
And then there's Fleabag, who's a total fuck up, and she's aware of it.
She knows that she's a fucked up person.
That's a self-awareness shift we were talking about in the morning. She's such a shitty person and she's totally aware of it.
When I do something, I get aware the very moment, like how will it come off? How will the other person perceive me? So I'm speaking and I'm thinking all of that at the same time.
Do you feel this pressure of following table manners? Eating with a knife and a fork?
No.
Because I can't. Okay, that's how you do it. Oh, I am such a clumsy eater. When I'm eating new people, I never agree to eat with them in public. I just drink something and that's it. And ever since I've got my braces, it's 10 times more difficult because food gets stuck up.